Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'll be talking about the Crew Motorfest, a game releasing later this year in September by Ubisoft. And I'll be talking about some of the biggest differences from this game compared to the Crew 2, which is the old one. Let's just get right into it. Starting off here, we have the map. Probably the most obvious thing to talk about. We are no longer in mainland USA, we have moved on to Oahu in Hawaii, featuring everything from volcanoes to flat areas with fields and higher mountains. We have just about everything you could need in a map here, and I find it really cool, although I do kind of miss the massive map of the US, but the more detailed and smaller map of an Hawaiian island is really cool, and all the off-road and on-road tracks here are amazing to drive, and I can't wait for the final game to release in September. Off we go to the second thing. We no longer have Lancia, Abarth, or Alfa Romeo. I find this kind of weird, but seeing as Forza Horizon had the same issue, and they just got them back, I assume those will be added to the game at a later date, and they probably just need to sort out some contract or something along those lines. In the meantime, we'll just have to survive with the few Italian cars we have, as Maserati and Lamborghini and Ferrari, for example, which are luckily still in the game, so not all Italian cars are affected, which I'm really happy about. And for the next thing then, we have the handling. The handling in the game is very different from how it was in the Crew 2, and I would say a lot more realistic. Here I am driving a Red Bull Formula 1 car, and it has so much grip. This and the other race cars have just a lot more grip than what I had in the Crew 2. Here we have the Bugatti Bolide, which I also took for a little spin here. And they just have so much grip, they do not want to drift or anything, they just want to... Yeah, they are race cars, they drive like proper race cars. And I find that really cool. That's something the old game kind of lacked, the feeling of actually driving a race car, because even the race cars had that cartoony or arcadey driving style. Then we have the street cars, which I feel like are a lot more slippery, kind of, than what they were in the Crew 2. Here I'm driving like shit, but that's not too important. Yeah, they just drive very differently now than what they used to. They are a lot easier to kind of drift, and you can get them drift just from doing a corner too hard. And you can actually somewhat drift them in a good way, which is good. Now, for the next thing to talk about here, we have the removal of normal point-to-point races, which we had a lot of in the Crew 2. In the Crew 2, the main source of income was by doing races. Races, for example, in the street race category, where you could choose any street race car you wanted, and then you could race it. That is something which is no longer possible in the game, because we have playlists now. Playlists are pretty much a bunch of races, but all following a same category and with the same rule set. For example, we have the Hawaii Scenic Tour, where pretty much just gets shown around the island and get put in different vehicles. You can't decide a vehicle yourself, that is predetermined. Then you have Vintage Garage, where you drive a lot of vintage vehicles, and there is no GPS, there is no nitro, no traction control. Those things are not in that race or those races whatsoever, which I just find really interesting, and it's kind of a cool concept, but I just don't feel like it works. At least not alone. It's real cool, but I want the normal races as well. I miss them. And you also have a Porsche one. You have a playlist with only electric cars. There is a motorsport one. There is a lot of cool playlists. But I miss the old point-to-point races, and there was such a good way of making income. So I hope those are added back when the game actually releases, but only time will tell. For now, thank you for watching, and have a good night. Goodbye.